Okay, folks, it's Mike Messier, The Black Phone. I saw The Black Phone yesterday. This is a Mike Messier's Instant Mike Messier movie reviews. I review movies shortly after I see them, normally right after I see them. But last night, The Black Phone was such an emotionally exhausting experience in some ways. Very intense film, scary. Ethan Hawke, give him credit. Ethan Hawke doing probably the scariest character I've seen in a major motion picture since Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. Some similarities there, but this is a real creep of a character, and Ethan Hawke normally plays a good guy. Not always, but most of the time. And I've actually met Ethan Hawke once upon a time. I don't know if he remembers, but I did meet him briefly. Nice guy, from what I remember. He had directed this film that sucked. It was called Chelsea Walls. Horrible movie with a great soundtrack by Wilco. And I think it was Ethan's, I just call him Ethan because we're so close. His film-making debut, his directing debut, was not a good movie, but the soundtrack was good. And I remember going to this theater where Ethan Hawke was actually at to show his movie, the Avon Cinema in Providence, Rhode Island. And all these gushing college girls were going up to him with their panties wet and their fucking Ethan Hawke books, because apparently he had written some book. So they're all going up there to get him signed. And, you know, the joys of celebrity. At the time, I think he was married to Uma Thurman. I don't know if that's still happening or not. But anyway, getting off of Ethan Hawke's fucking personal life and onto this movie. First of all, if you don't like horror films, don't see this movie. If you're squeamish or a soft-stomached individual, meaning like, you know, terror and scary stuff, and actually there's abuse to children in this movie. So if any of that stuff is going to freak you out or trigger you, do not see this film. If you can handle it, then go ahead and see it, because it's a good movie. Well made for its genre, but I'm telling you, the movie didn't get to the point, with me at least, where it went over the line in what I could handle. But it got close. And I think really, do you mind? I think really the biggest thing was just the abuse to children in the movie probably upset me the most. But that was the point of it. So it also takes place in like 1977 or 78. Obviously the world was quite different back then. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have phones in our hand 24 hours a day. We didn't have personal computers. They actually show, I think they illustrate pretty well how kids spent their time back then. They're talking about Happy Days. They're talking about Potsy and Richie Cunningham and Joey Buttafuoco. And they're just, not Joey Buttafuoco, the other guy. The guy from the TV, Johnny Partridge or whatever the fuck. It's a kid blowing up a rocket, you know, making a homemade rocket. And so the point is, like, and a lot of street fights in this movie, too. Like, a lot of the kids in this movie are beating the crap out of each other. A lot of fights in this hypothetical or this fictional world amongst these children. Abusive father was kind of a tough character to watch. You know, very kind of a brutal whipping scene of a father and young daughter. It's a little hard to watch. The father, I was expecting that the father, I guess spoilers, okay, spoilers, but I was expecting for the father to get his comeuppance and get killed, but he doesn't. So, and I think they were trying to like turn the evil father into a baby face by the end of the film, and I don't know if that really worked for me. It just seemed a little too convenient and quick. Good acting, very good acting, maybe great acting by the kid actors. I don't think you could have asked for a better job from the brother and sister. Kind of a cool movie if you were a brother and sister to go see together, I guess, because you don't see a whole lot of movies, well, maybe you do, I don't know, where like a brother-sister relationship is portrayed this well, so very good for that. If you remember movies like the original It or the remakes of It in the last 10 years, you know, with kids and terror, it's always a fine line. There was another movie that had like kids as the victim of horror. I'm trying to think of what that was. Another movie, you know, but it was good. I mean, it was definitely scary. It was definitely edgy. I don't know if there's any great moral fucking thing for this movie, like any cutting edge lesson. You know, like a couple of years ago, maybe 5 or 6, Get Out was the big hot thing, the horror movie Get Out. And in that movie, you know, everybody had a fucking opinion and everybody was so rocked and riveted and, oh my God, what a conversational point. I don't know if this movie really does that. I don't think it does. There's really no controversy in this movie other than, you know, I think some people might be offended that children are the victim of violence. But once again, that's the point. It's not that you're cheering for that to happen. The movie did do a good job of making you cheer for the good guy and boo for the bad guy. That's for sure. Not a lot of movies do that. Oh, Freddy Krueger, for Christ's sake. That's who I was trying to remember, the Nightmare on Elm Street films. Robert Englund, of course, as Freddy Krueger. And, you know, after a couple of movies, you started cheering on Robert Englund, or you started cheering on Freddy Krueger. Like, go kill those high school kids. They deserve it. But in the first couple of movies, you don't feel that way. Now, I don't think The Black Phone needs any sequels. That would be kind of... I don't think they should do that, nor do they need to. I guess they could do, like, a prequel, because the story kind of picks up, like, halfway through the whole deal. But once again, they did a really good job with the soundtrack. 70s music is always a good listen. The costume designer, whoever that was, did a good job with, like, you know, having the bell bottoms, but not over the top. And a lot of people in this movie have long hair, as the custom was in the 70s. So I thought, like, all that stuff was good. You know what I mean? I thought, like, they did a good job with a lot of crap. What else can I say? And this is kind of interesting. I went to see it kind of like an advanced screening, and there was actually a woman assigned, like she was wearing a suit and everything, and she was checking everybody's phone when you came in. And I thought she was just like checking my ticket because I had my ticket on my phone. Well, in fact, she was making sure that you turn your fucking phone off, because this was such a special advanced screening. They did not want anyone to ruin it by videotaping the movie. That's kind of fun. I got this thing made in China, of course. I got this thing because I've donated like $1 for the kids' research or whatever the fuck. And it's like the Robin Williams thing. Hey, I'm Dr. whatever the fuck. Can't breathe out of this thing. Kind of fun. I've had this for like 3 months and I just ripped the goddamn thing. Oh boy, what a dick in the ass. Okay, so the movie's good. I enjoyed it. But you know what? It's a dark movie. Like I said, if you don't like horror, don't see it. If you do like horror, go see it. It's a genre film. So if this is your genre, go see it. If not, don't. Subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. Like, share, all that crap.